But the opposition has come up with opposition. I hope you are putting the questions down, so we go into that. So these are the countries, it's not projecting too big, but we'll take it like that. These are the countries that have ratified it, and yet they are doing nothing about it due to the opposition. The laudable goal of the Maputo Protocol is being used to distract attention from the other, more central goals of the treaty. Notice that the protocol offers no new ideas to how to combat FGM or any of the reasons why national governments should not do it themselves without the African Union. What the proponents are saying is that, or the opposition is saying is that AU needn't come out with an African law to guide the nations, African nations, how they should handle their reproductive health rights. And a lot of people are wondering, why not? Because we'll go into that. So you put your questions down, because we have a lot of work to do on that. It will amaze you to know that this is the fastest ratified treaty in the whole world, all the conventions under the UN. The Maputo Protocol was introduced to boost protection of women's rights. It was the fastest ratified AU treaty to come into force within 3 years of its adoption on 25th November 205. It has been hailed as one of the most progressive women's human rights instruments, providing legal framework, addressing inter alia developmental, peace, security, violence against women, sexual and reproductive health, rights, sustainable environment, and climate change, among others. I mean, it spelled out so many things that even the SDGs have taken from right now. And yet, this has been stalled since 2005. And yet, you are embracing the SDGs as if a novelty. Maputo Protocol spelled it out years ago. And again, as speakers have said, we downplay everything from Africa. We always listen to the big brothers. They always treat us as children. We never want to grow up. We don't accept something original from ourselves. Oh, made in Ghana, they are not good enough. We want the ones from China that are even more inferior. The problem with the Maputo Protocol is Article 14. Although the protocol has so many issues, this has made it difficult to be ratified by all the other countries and put it to force, because there's so much opposition against it. As typically interpreted by international jurists and Western courts, the language of the Maputo Protocol will legalize any abortion for any woman at any point in pregnancy. Even in the 9th month, all effective restriction on abortion will be abolished by the protocol. It also demands the government to promote other policies that Catholics and other believers will be immoral to them. Here is Article 14 in its entirety. What they are saying is that Article 14 seems to beg the African Union to promote abortion without any restrictions. That's what it is saying. So they said no, Maputo Protocol should be scrapped. The provision Article 14 states that state parties shall ensure that the right to health of women, including sexual and reproductive health, is respected and promoted. This includes the right to control their fertility, the right to decide whether to have children, the number of children and the spacing of children, the right to choose any method of contraception, the right to self-protection and to be protected against sexually transmitted infections, including HIV, AIDS, and others, STDs, and whatever the the medical professionals will tell us. The right to be informed on one's health status and on the health status of one's partner, like we did this morning, particularly if it affected, as it affects sexually transmitted infections, including HIV, AIDS, in accordance with internationally recognized standards and best practices. And F, the right to have a family planning education. State parties shall take all appropriate measures to provide adequate, affordable, and accessible health services, including information, education, communication programs to women, especially in the rural areas, establish and strengthen existing prenatal, delivery, and postnatal health and nutritional services for women during pregnancy and while they are breastfeeding. Protect the reproductive rights of women by authorizing medical abortion in cases of sexual assault, rape, incest, and where the continued pregnancy endangers the mental and physical health of the mother or the life of the mother or the fetus. This is the section that has made the Maputo Protocol illegal. Therefore, a lot of countries are being warned not to ratify it or for it to move forward. So they're also accusing it because it's been supported by IPP, that's International Planned Parenthood Federation. You know, in the West, there's always a pro and abortion and pro-abortion and against abortion and all that. And because this Planned Parenthood Association has probably championed the Maputo Protocol, they are saying that they are championing abortion. So the opposition goes on. With their help, the protocol explicitly calls for all methods of contraception, including abortion, ones such as the pill, to be provided by the government. They are saying that the pill should be provided by the government. If not, only calls for allowing the killing of unborn children conceived through rape, incest, but for the mental health of the mother. Even USA has come in, and elsewhere, this loophole has been used to justify any abortion at any time, because an abortionist can claim that a woman would have been depressed or anxious if abortion has been refused. I mean, they are using all kinds of, and because this Planned Parenthood Association has probably championed the Maputo Protocol, they are saying that they are championing abortion. So the opposition goes on. With their help, the protocol explicitly calls for all methods of contraception, including abortion, ones such as the pill, to be provided by the government. They are saying that the pill should be provided by the government. If not, only calls for allowing the killing of unborn children conceived through rape, incest, but for the mental health of the mother. Even USA has come in, and elsewhere, this loophole has been used to justify any abortion at any time, because an abortionist can claim that a woman would have been depressed or anxious if abortion has been refused. I mean, they are using all kinds of arguments. I'll just read through quickly. Instead of talking about the harm of FGM, how to combat it, the Maputo Protocol is full of statements such as the following. The statement called for total eradication of all forms of discrimination against women. Further, considering that Article 18 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights calls on all state parties to eliminate every form of discrimination against women and to ensure the protection of the rights of women as stipulated in the International Declaration and Conventions. Support the local, national, regional, and continental initiatives directed at eradicating all forms of discrimination against women, reaffirming the principle of promoting gender equality as entitled in the Constitution Act of the African Union. You know, they are reiterating the African Union and all that the African Union was doing. And so they are saying that this is what the African Union said, and the Maputo Protocol. The argument goes on and on. But it's not boring. You listen to me, you get it. State parties, opposition continues. State parties that combat all forms of discrimination against women through appropriate legislative institutions and other measures. In this regard, they shall all include in their national constitution and other legislative. That means if state parties take it on, that means they are going to legalize abortion. So they are saying that the state parties shouldn't do what the Maputo Protocol is saying they should do. And what that discrimination mean? The Maputo Protocol would never